morning, everyone.
And we are the Resource Based Group.
Hello everyone, I am Shamoli Mishra, here to represent my topic, livestock and cattle of the Indian agricultural economy. Livestock and cattle are a crucial component of the agricultural and food systems worldwide, in which it contributes to around 4.5% to 5.5% to India's gross value added. Livestock sector provides a source of income and employment to the rural sector throughout India. Livestock sector includes animals and cattle like pig, sheep, goat and camel, in which the cattle sector only includes the domesticated bovines like cows, oxen, buffalo, etc. As you can see, the following are the types of cattle breeds in India, in which Jersey and Zebu, Nagari and Malvi are the most common types which are found in India. Same we have the examples of poultry which are chicken, duck, turkey, goose and ostrich as such found in India. The rest are not that common in India but are used in the livestock sector worldwide. Now, India's livestock sector provides a source of, gives upliftment to the women, as the livestock sector of India has a workforce that is supported by women more than the men in the rural sector. Having said that, the livestock sector in India has the world's largest population, which is about 535.78 million. India is also the world's leading milk producer, with our state Uttar Pradesh being the leading amongst all the states of India. Then, livestock sector in India contributes to the world's third largest beef production from our state. Therefore, we can say from the above points mentioned that India's livestock sector is not only a contributor to India's GDP, but also provides a source of nutrition for the population. It provides a steady source of income to the farmer because the Indian agriculture is otherwise largely based on monsoon. It provides a source of upliftment towards the women of India. Having said that, in a largely agricultural based economy like that of India, the livestock sector should be integrated along with the agricultural sector so that we have a diversified economy which is also sustainable. Thank you.
Good morning everyone, I am going to speak on my topic, fisheries in India. Fisheries play an important role in our country. They provide employment to a large number of people. They also serve as an affordable source of protein to our growing population. India has a large number of coastline, has a large number of rivers, lakes, ponds, reservoirs, which make India the third largest producer of fisheries. When we talk about types of fisheries, there are three types of fisheries which are practiced in India: marine fisheries, inland fisheries, and cold water fisheries. Marine fisheries are practiced in seas, oceans. Basically in the coastline of India, it is practiced in states like Gujarat, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Inland fisheries is done mostly basically in India's lakes, rivers, ponds, basically inside the country where water bodies are found. These are mainly in states such as Bihar and West Bengal. Cold water fisheries, these are practiced in Himalayan states such as Uttarakhand and Jammu Kashmir and Uttarakhand.
Hi, I am going to present power resource base coal. Firstly, we should know about what is coal. Coal is also known as black gold. It is mainly black and brownish black combustible sedimentary rock and has one of the most important source of energy. It is mainly made up of carbon along with hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, ash and moisture. Coal is not formed overnight. It takes millions of years to form coal, and that process is called qualification. Around 300 million years ago, during Carboniferous period, the plants and animals lived on a swampy area, and when they died, they can buried under the layer of soil and rocks for times, and under the high temperature and pressure, the matter can be slowly converted into coal. There are four main types of coal based on carbon context: peat, lignite, bituminous, and anthracite. Peat is the first stage of coal formation. It is soft, brownish, and contains low carbon, around 40%. It is highly moisture and low heating capacity, make it low efficient fuel. Lignite is the second stage. Lignite is also known as brown coal, contain 40 to 60% carbon, highly moisture, and used for electricity generation. It is formed in Rajasthan and Gujarat. Bituminous is the third stage. Bituminous coal is black and hard shiny, contains 60 to 80% with high heat value and moderate moisture. It is widely used in industries and power plants. Found in Jharkhand, Odisha, and Chhattisgarh. The best quality of coal is anthracite. It is fourth stage of the coal. Anthracite has the highest carbon content, around 80 to 95%. Low moisture and high heating value. It is shiny burn, clean with little smoke, used mainly for domestic heating. The peat and anthracite coal improves the quality, hardness, and energy content. Thank you.
That is coal distribution of India. The data shows from Geological Survey of India in April 1st, 2008. The total coal reserve in India is 3,90,020 million tons. The states with coal reserve are shaded with different colors. The map highlights Jharkhand in black with the red label indicate coal reserve, the highest coal reserve in the state, that is 83,152 million tons. Jharia is the one of the largest coal fields in India, situated in Jharkhand. It has a high quality of bituminous coal. West Bengal is the oldest coal field, that is Raniganj, opened in 1774. That contribute in industrial source and energy in 2 centuries.
India, as the second largest coal producer, the government has introduced several policies to boost domestic production, reduce imports, encourage private participation, and ensure sustainable mining. The first policy is the Shakti Policy, scheme for harnessing and allocating koila transparently in India. It aims to streamline allocation to power plants. It provides coal linkages to central and state power producers at notified prices.
Good afternoon, everyone. My topic for today is hydroelectric power in India. Now I am going to explain what is hydraulic power and what is hydroelectricity power. First of all, hydraulic power is the electricity generated from any liquid. It is not fixed that it is to be water. And the hydroelectricity is the electricity generated from only water. So the difference between hydraulic and hydroelectricity is this. Now the type of dams which are in India are 3 types of dams: impoundment and diversion and storage. Now like the print of impoundment dams are like this. Reservoirs release the water, then it goes to the turbine rotates and generates the electricity. Electricity is supplied to the grid. From there it is supplied to the whole city, and then this turbine releases the water and it goes to the river. This is impoundment. And the diversion is that where we drew instead of reservoir, we drew a canal. From there, that canal provides the water to the dam, and then the same process again repeats. And the storage is where we draw a water body at a higher altitude. Higher altitude, like on the mountains, one water body will be at much higher height than the other water body. We make pond or lake, 2 lakes where we join this to turbine and this turbine to this water body, and then we supply the water from this water body to the turbine, and then this turbine supply the water to this water body. can resupply the water to the first water body at higher altitude. This storage dam works like a battery because it reuses the same water again and again. We do not need the water from any water body like river or glacier, mountain to be recharged. So this is the environment. Now the types of dams based on the installed capacity are large hydro, which produces electricity more than 100 megawatt, medium hydro, which produces electricity of 15 to 100 megawatt, small hydro produces 1 to 15 megawatts, mini hydro produces 100 kilowatt to 10 megawatt, micro hydro produces up to 100 kilowatt, and pico hydro produces under 5 kilowatt. Now the ministry classification is like under 25 megawatt electricity, it comes under the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, and above that, above 25 megawatt, it comes under the Ministry of Power, Government of India. So now the advantages of hydroelectric power plant. Hydroelectric power plants advantages are like it uses the clean source of energy. It does not use non-renewable energy which can go extinct in the future like coal or wood to generate electricity. And the third advantage is it requires one-time investment, like we make a dam one time and then we produce electricity for many years. And the fourth advantage is this, it has quick shutdown and starting facility which can help in high load time. And the fifth advantage is this, it can use with thermal energy which gives which has winter high load which can help in quick supply of the electricity. Now the disadvantages, the disadvantages are like this. For disadvantages, we require high skilled labor to draw to make a dam, and we require the tribal protest if we make a dam in an area, and the capacity of the states like Arunachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand is not used because of this tribal protest. And the third disadvantage is this, it requires high infrastructure facility to draw dam, and it has high maintenance cost also, and the submergence of agricultural land and the loss of biodiversity because we make a dam in an area. This causes the biodiversity to move to other place which can cause harm to them, and the deforestation also happen.
My name is Anjali Kumari Shah, and I'm going to start with the next part of our presentation, iron ore, which comes under the topic mineral resources. Iron ore are the rocks and minerals from which metallic iron can be extracted. It acts as a primary raw material in the production of iron and steel, which is used in almost every sector of our economy. Iron ore are used from the constructing of bridges, railways, to even household appliances and automobiles. Iron ore is one of the abundant resources in India, with an estimation of around 33 billion tons by the Geological Survey of India. India ranks the fourth in the world as the top leading producers. If we talk about the types of iron ore, according to the iron content, physical properties, and economic value, iron ore is divided in four major types. The first one is hematite with a chemical formula of Fe2O3. Hematite is one of the most abundant iron ore in India with high iron content of up to 60%. It is ideal for iron and steel making and is found in states like Jharkhand and Orissa.
The second one is magnetite with the chemical formula of Fe3O4. It shows magnetic properties and is found in the southern region of India in states like Karnataka and Goa. It is one of the high-graded iron ore with an iron content of up to 70%. The next one is limonite, which is a hydrated iron ore with a chemical formula of Fe2O3.3H2O. It doesn't have too much iron content, but up to 30 to 50% approx. It is not suitable or ideal for iron and steel industries, but is used in several other purposes. It is found in Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh region. The last one is the siderite with a chemical formula of FeCO3. It is a carbonated iron ore which is not ideal for iron and steel production. It has very low iron content with around 30%, and it is found in states like Jharkhand and Orissa.
The distribution of iron ore in India. As we know, iron ore is one of the most important minerals for the industrial development of country. India is rich in iron ore reserves and ranks fourth amongst the top producers globally after Australia, Brazil and China. Distribution of iron ore in India is uneven, but it is prominently concentrated in few areas. These are the major belts of iron ore in India. These are Odisha Jharkhand belt, Durg Bastar Chandrapur belt, Delhi Chitradur Tirupur belt, and the Maharashtra Goa belt. Now, if we talk about the state-wise distribution of iron ore, here Odisha holds the largest share of production of iron ore and produces almost half of the country's iron ore. Districts in Odisha such as Srinagar, Mayurbhanj, Kyunjhar, with major mines such as Badampahar, Balda, Bonai, and Kiluguru located here.
After Odisha comes Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarh is the second largest producer of iron ore with key deposits found in Durg Bastar and Dantewada district. After Chhattisgarh comes Karnataka. Here in Karnataka, iron ore is widely distributed in Chitradurg, Chikmagalur, Tumkur, Bengaluru district. Here, the mines in Chitradurg district is one of the largest mines of iron ore. After Karnataka comes Jharkhand. Jharkhand is also a major producer of iron ore with the oldest mines as well, such as Bua, Nilgiri and Chheda district. These are the major iron ore producing states that have almost 80% of the India's iron ore.
I'm going to tell you about the major challenges users and government policies about iron. The iron ore first major challenges is depletion of high-grade iron ores and environmental pollution. The high-grade iron ores means that there are a lot of extractions have been done upon the high-grade iron ores, so what remains is the low-grade iron ores. And states like Odisha and Jharkhand, they are more focusing on the extraction of high-grade ores due to depletion of low-grade ores, due to depletion of high-grade ores. Now I'm going to tell you about the uses of iron. The iron ore basically is used for the steel production. Steel production further used in the automobile industry, shipbuilding, etc. Now I'm going to tell you about the government policies. The first government policy that was introduced was Indian National Policy 2009. It majorly focuses on the scientific, environmental, friendly mining and also ensure the transparency in the auction of land.
I am going to present mineral resource bauxite. For delving deep into bauxite, we need to first know what is bauxite. Bauxite is the primary ore for aluminium. It is relatively soft, characterized by dull or earthy luster. Its color ranges from white to reddish brown. Its process of formation includes chemical weathering, where rocks rich in feldspar and aluminium silicate minerals undergo chemical weathering. Leaching, where the soluble elements are carried away by water from the parent rock. Formation of aluminium hydroxide, where after silica removal, the aluminium compounds are converted into hydrated aluminium oxides. Iron, being less soluble in water, is also retained in parent rock. Concentration and residual accumulation, where due to continuous chemical weathering and bleaching, a residue is left behind which is highly rich in aluminium hydroxides. Its mining processes includes exploration and prospecting, land clearance and overburden removal, ore extraction, crushing and screening, and transportation. The bauxite is converted into alumina through Baer's process, which is further converted into aluminium by Hall Herold's process. Thank you.
Good afternoon everyone, I'm Garma Srivastava and we'll begin with the topic bauxite in the mining resource. First we'll know about its distribution. So, India stands on the 5th position in the production of the bauxite and it produces about 24 to 25 million metric tons of bauxite annually. The major states that produce bauxite are as follows. Orissa. It is the largest producer of the bauxite in India and it includes the district of Koraput, Kalahandi, Sambhalpur. Gujarat is the second largest producer of bauxite in India with the districts of Sabarkantha, Khera, Kutch. Then comes the Jharkhand, which includes the district of Ranchi, Daltonganj, Lohardaga. Then comes the Maharashtra. It includes the districts such as Thane, Satara, Ratnagiri. Then comes the Chhattisgarh with Durg, Bilaspur. And the last is the Madhya Pradesh that includes the district of Jabalpur, Balaghat, Mandla. Now, we'll know what is the contribution of the bauxite production to India's GDP. So, it indirectly contributes to the production of the aluminium. It contributes about the 1 to 2% of the GDP in India. It also supports industries like automobiles, packaging, infrastructure. Now, what are the uses of bauxite? So, the primary use of bauxite is mainly in the aluminium industry. It is also used in the construction of window frames, pipes, doors. It is used in the manufacturing of the transport such as aircrafts, ships, and it is also used in the electrical industry such as wires, cables. Now, what are the challenges faced by these industries? So, the first challenge is the displacement of the tribal and local community. Then environmental degradation, shortage of high quality of bauxite, and the dependence on the imported technologies for refining processing. And the last is the transport and logistic issues. What are the government schemes for this? So the first is the National Mining Policy of 2019 that promotes sustainable mining and investment and transparency. Then second is the Atmanirbhar Bharat Yojana that is basically developed for boosting the aluminium industry and the other mining industries. And there is National Aluminium Company, which is a private sector undertaking company that is actively engaged in the bauxite mining and the aluminium production. And the last is the Make in India scheme, which was launched by the government in 2014 in September, which lays emphasis on the domestic production and the less dependence on the imported technologies for refining.
And that's it for our presentation. Hope you liked it.
Thank you.